Yeah, we still got 3 hours to the Sox game.
Cubs start at 4, or our time 4, I think, right?
I got my jug.
And Cubs started an hour early today.
Yeah. Probably bus
For
ride.
whatever reason.
The Twitter. Yeah, it's the Twitter.
Pinwheels and Ivy podcast.
Oh, you posted that shit a while, like 7 minutes ago.
What?
No, there's one from 22 seconds ago.
Oh, that's the wrong one. The one I have 7 minutes ago. Tim Anderson back at leadoff. We are live.
Yeah, why does that say 7 minutes ago? He
It was 37 seconds ago. I made the stream like 7 minutes ago. But...
Yeah, you might be...
It says 2:38 p.m. August 6, 2020 is what time it was posted.
I don't know, you got like some weird futuristic.
Like on Twitter or on YouTube?
On Twitter.
Oh, that's weird.
Control option 4. Where's my screenshot?
I mean, yeah, it says 2:38 p.m., but that was literally a minute ago.
Oh,
maybe you have a wrong.
Oh, my computer! Wow. My computer says 2:46. That's really fucking
what
strange.
What the hell?
My computer. That is
4 viewers. We're live, everyone.
So my computer's time is off. Let me go ahead and update my date and time because that's really strange.
Breaking news: it is not 2:46.
No, because most of the people watching this are in Chicago. It's 4:40.
It's 4:40.
Yep.
That's really weird that this thing is like. That's strange. The school computer. Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday, August 7th. You have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawaski, a.k.a. Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe. And with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
So I think the Cubs are currently... Oh, wait, no, shit, the Yankees. All right. Cubs, once again, second straight show, entering play, best team in the National League.
Best team in the National League.
Love it.
And decked out in head to toe in his Vegas Knights gear, Mr. K. Fids.
Don't hold it against me. It's okay. But I really, really am more excited about the Cubs making a real big signing today that made Aldo very, 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 very happy. So I'm excited to talk about that today.
Oh, God, I wish I wasn't right about that. So we got a lot to talk about. Apparently, TA didn't lose his job. We're going to talk about that. Like you said, Cubs are the best team in the National League. White Sox got on a little roll, hit a little speed bump, but I'm not sweating that at all. There are some player movements, some injuries we need to address since the last time we were on here. And, so with all that being said, I hate Nick Swisher with all my heart. That's Ozzy. Let's tap this keg. As always, the show is brought to you by SportsMarkery, sportsmarkery.com. Make sure you're going to the App Store, download the app, turn on push notifications, be the first one to know when KELVIN HERRERA is pitching next for the Cubs. SportsMarkery, sportsmarkery.com. Turn on those push notifications. All right. Aldo didn't find my KELVIN HERRERA joke funny.
He didn't even there wasn't even I was a little bit of an eye twitch, a little facial tick.
I think I'm just gonna black out every time someone even starts to say his name. I'm like black out. So if anyone's name starts with a K, I'm just gonna start to black out before you finish their pronunciation.
Yeah, I'm in Fiddler. Oh, did you
blacked out?
Blacked out. I completely blacked out.
Blacked
out.
No
idea what you said. No idea what you said. Well, let's start with the big news. I did a little video about it when it happened. Well, not when it happened. When it happened, I was busy spazzing out on Twitter. No, the next day, hand up. I was pissed, dude. People were laughing about it. Like, I get if you're not a fan of the kid, like, okay, cool. I get if you're one of those people that are like, oh, he's got too much type. You get that too. Completely understand it. But when the dude gets hurt and it's obvious he's hurt, because it was very obvious, he popped right up grabbing his arm. Don't go on Twitter and be like, ha, 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 this is what you get, or look at this little guy, and don't do that. That fucking pisses me off. Even if it's the other team, even if like when Byron Buxton got hurt, like I saw some people being like, "Good, fuck him." No, don't do that. Even if it's your biggest rival. Did Kevin just sneeze himself off the? Oh wow! I thought like you sneezed so hard that you lost your connectivity.
I was trying to mute that. That'd have been instead I mucused it. It's different.
But basically, what I'm saying, don't laugh at injuries. Injuries suck, no matter who they're to. I mean, like if like Hitler got hurt, I'd probably cheer. When he hurt himself, everybody cheered. But like other than that. Don't cheer for injuries, especially in pro sports. It's a bad look. You look like an asshole. There's no real way to defend it. Don't do that. That's why I got fired up. And I was also drunk when it happened. But that's another story.
Good combo.
Yeah. Tuesday nights are golf leagues night, baby. White Claws are flowing. So he got hurt. Let's talk about this. So he was on first after another phenomenal single to the opposite field. And next up is Luis Robert. It's been a great 9-1 combo. Like they complement each other well. One of the two gets, whatever. And Luis Robert hits a ball up the middle. Now, right off the bat, I think Nick Madrigal misjudged how hard Luis Robert hits baseballs. Because if it's a normal human being, a mortal, if you will, that ball doesn't get to obvious fast. And Nick's probably safe at third. But Luis Robert, he is a aircraft carrier of piss missiles, shot one off to center field. Avi Garcia, not known for any kind of fielding.
I was confused about that because Steve Stone immediately after the play was like,
no, he's just trying to make things.
And it was weird because I remember the only other Avisel Garcia throw I remember was from like 2017 or something. Where it was like the end of the game against the Tigers in Detroit, and there's a sac fly to win the game, and he threw the ball like straight into the ground, like from shallow left center. And I'm like, and Steve Stone is like, the White Sox apparently didn't read the scouting report on Garcia's arm. I'm like, what?
No, settle down, Steve. Don't block me, but settle down, Steve.
That apparently happens very easily.
Well, I mean, he is a Major League Baseball player, and a throw from short center on a ball that's perfectly bouncing and coming in hot is not a hard throw.
And it was coming in hot. And what's up, Aloha, Mr. Hand? Thank you again for the tweet. We appreciate that. But he was coming in hot on it. The ball was hit hard. And then all credit to Avi. It was a perfect throw. Perfect throw. So Nick tries to go to third. Avi obviously guns him at third. Nick Kevin, you're a high school baseball coach. Do you guys not teach kids how to slide anymore?
Oh, dear God. That's the first practice we do. Actually, I kid you not. It's the first practice. When we start our first practice, we do sliding practice on the first day, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. It is because it's a safety hazard. Right. You want to make sure that you go over something where a kid could get hurt most. Well, the kid's most likely to get hurt in two places: running the bases, specifically sliding, or in the box because they're not protecting themselves. We do the crab walk. You walk it out. You crab walk, and then you throw your hands up, and you land on your butt, and you work on getting your right leg, or whichever is more comfortable, right or left leg. Generally, it's usually right for us, or at least for me, a right-hander. But you jump and you land, and you land on both butt cheeks. That slide was absolutely fundamentally flawed from the start. He's sliding on his left hip, and again, the point of sliding on both butt cheeks is to get your hands up. Why do you put your hands up? You can, it makes the target a little bit bigger, and the ball's got to get over you, sure. But the most important part of that is you're getting your hands up because you don't want to get your thumb stuck in the ground. You don't want to get your hand. And exactly why you teach that is exactly what happened to him. He had to put his hand down to stabilize, and by doing that, it jarred his shoulder. And he's lucky. It could have been a lot worse. I thought he lost the thumb. I thought his thumb was broken, or his fingers, because it looked like his fingers were bent back.
So my initial reaction was he broke his wrist because he broke that wrist in college. He missed a lot of the College World Series because of broken wrist. That's why he has a wrist guard on that wrist already. No, the reason I asked about the sliding was because we saw Madrigal, and then they literally put oven mitts on La Pantera now because the dude doesn't know how to slide yet.
And that's the thing is some of those talented guys. I'll say this, Chris worked on it ad nauseum, even as a ball player, and his sliding, has been a little bit, he got hurt last year. Was it last year he got hurt sliding? 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And he had a really bad slide last year too. And it's like, I don't know if it's just something that they're not working at the major league level. That's one of my favorite practices because you get the slip and slide out sometimes, and you get out there and you work on that. Because if you, again, slip and slides, if you don't get those hands up, where does your thumb get? Get stuck in the grass. Guess what goes with you? Your body. Your thumb stays. It's something you got to work on. And these guys, at the pro level, those little things, this might not be something that should be focused on. It should be focused on, but not focused on enough. And I think that Madrigal just came in and he does so many things so well. That was actually a shock to me that I don't know if he was trying to slide around something, but that was a bad slide.
It was a bad slide, and he paid for it, obviously. So he popped up, grabbed his arm. Apparently, now that we know what the injury was, he wasn't grabbing his wrist. He grabbed his arm. And then I watched it a bunch of times. And, well, first things first, he shouldn't have been going for third. I will say that 100%. He should not have been going to third. Yes, he misjudged how hard he hit that ball. And Nick even said today, well, here we have the comment from Nick here about it today. Madrigal said, it was kind of a weird play, trying to take the extra base, probably a dumb play, but I've done it successfully 100 times in my life, and I just wanted to be aggressive. I knew it would be a close play. I landed weird on my arm. So, I mean, like, he knows it was a risky play. He got caught, hand caught in the cookie jar. Okay. They went on to win that game, by the way, so whatever. But so the next day, late in the day too, jerks, we finally found out Nick separated his shoulder. So it's a shoulder separation. I didn't see anything about torn. I didn't see anything about it. I just saw a shoulder separation. And then actually today, Nick said he plans on being on the field in 2 weeks. He said that on Thursday. And that kind of goes in line with what Han said. He said hopefully by the end of the month. Either way, though, anyone that separated their shoulder before knows it could be a real pain in the ass because it's going to pop back out. You're going to have to pop it back in. It's annoying. So he's probably going to have to get some kind of procedure done in the offseason, which a guy after his first year in the league, you hate seeing him going under the knife for anything. Sucks. But as I said in my video too, it sucks either way. There's no way around it. It sucks. But if it was going to happen to a guy, I'd want it to happen to a guy that doesn't hit for power, that is a contact guy to begin with. It sucks for anyone, Kev. I know I see you wincing. It sucks for anyone, but for a power guy, that really takes away a big part of your game.
Yeah, but for a speed guy, it takes a great deal of your game away too. Now you're going to look at a guy at second base that can't leave his feet as many times on balls up the middle because if he goes and he lands wrong diving for a ball up the middle, that's how we lost our All-American shortstop 2 years ago. It wasn't anything on a slide. I mean, he got hurt on a slide, and then he came back. He was cleared, came back. We go to San Diego. We end up playing in this stupid extra inning game or whatever. And there's a foul ball down the left field line. He's a shortstop. He goes down and tries to make a diving play. Lands again, and as soon as he caught up, I mean, you could see it. He was done, and his season was over. He's actually popped out again in college. The next year, he had to sit. He was at College of Southern Nevada, CSN, and popped out again. He's now moved to the outfield. It does have an effect on guys that create havoc, though. I mean, he's going to have to taper it back, and you're asking a guy that plays with his hair on fire to now say, "Hey, douse that fire a little bit." You're not going to be able to take as many chances, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
power stuff. Yeah, I understand too, but I'm looking at what he can't do now with what his legs allow him to do, and that concerns me too because it will be a nagging problem. He's lucky he didn't tear the labrum. That's a luck.
Right. But a lot of that's on Nick. Like that's mental. That's in his own head. He's got to be smarter, but he's still got to play his game. So I think that goes from person to person. From everything we've heard about Madrigal, he's a competitor, if you will. Like I don't know how else to say that and not sound really corny, but
it's like
I don't know.
Swisher, yeah.
What's up? I didn't hear you.
He's just like Nick Swisher, yeah.
Oh. You know what I did? You know, it's kind of funny. You know what I noticed too is that I find it really telling that he, you know, that's kind of like the little guy getting his first experience of Major League Baseball too. Is in his head, no one's ever been able to throw him out in his lifetime in that situation ever. So his timing is completely different when he goes to the big boys. And so, you know, and one thing that you always want to tell your guys, and he didn't see it because obviously the center fielder was crashing. You don't want a guy going first to third unless you see the back pocket. If you see the outfielder's back pocket, that's when you take. So if it's a ball, if you see the back pocket, you're going first or third. Chris hit a ball yesterday, or no, Chris went first or third. I think I want to base hit by was it Rizzo? And it was a good one because why? It was in right center. It wasn't a direct. He wasn't crashing directly. He had to take an angle, and when you have to take that angle, that's when you get those bags. And I think that he misjudged because that ball was hit so hard. I think he misjudged the guy's ability to take that route, and obviously the speed of the game is a little bit different. But I thought that was really telling too, is that he learned the speed of the game a little bit. That rough lesson on injury. If he would have been just banged at third, he still would have learned a really valuable lesson, which is timing is very different at this level.
Yep, and I think if you're going to learn a lesson, he's not going to forget separating his shoulders. So he's going to think twice about doing that. So that's that. And then on the other White Sox injury front, Ray Lopez is already throwing in Schaumburg. He's on a throwing plan. Carlos Rodon's probably going to go. No, they didn't even. He's still on the team.
Who, Rodon?
Yeah.
No, he's on the injury list. He's going to be.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he's going to be in Schaumburg. And then Tim Anderson is up and going already in Schaumburg as well. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a segue into the next big piece of White Sox news. Ricky Renteria basically said, I still consider Timmy our leadoff guy, and we'll find a way to adjust our lineup a little bit.
Are you scared that means
here it comes.
Some guy who shouldn't be batting 6th or 7th is going to be batting 6th or 7th?
Well, you're going to have that.
I'm not even talking about Tim Anderson. I'm just talking about other guys.
You're going to have that no matter what with this White Sox lineup because you have a lot of good hitters in this lineup. It's a fantastic problem to have. I mean, Luis Robert has not been a bad leadoff guy by any sense. 21 at-bats, 9 hits, 5 runs, 2 doubles, a homer. He's batting – his slash is 429, 520, 667. And, again, that's in 21 at-bats. It's a very small sample size. Tim was hitting before he got hurt. He was hitting. He was doing his job. And Tim's kind of earned it. He earned that spot. He was performing in that spot. I don't mind Tim getting that spot back. Now, the question is, where do you put Robert? He's hitting so well, I don't want to see him back in the 7th spot. I'd like to see him a little bit more well-protected, even if that just means up in the 5 spot and have Eloy bat behind him. That can work for me. And then we're seeing in Thursday night's lineup, Zach Collins is your DH, and he's batting 8th. If I'm making the lineup now, I'm probably putting Luis Robert at least 5th if Tim Anderson has to bat leadoff.
It's interesting too. You do make a good point. Is there anything wrong? Again, you don't want your best players, your best hitters, to not optimize their plate appearances.
Right.
So again, by pushing him down, is there a possibility that Renteria can? Because I'll be honest. I think he's earned it, like you said. But I also think that Tim Anderson, TA, is a brand now and a developing brand. He's got he's got dude filming, following around with a film crew, and a dude that is building a brand ain't gonna hit 7th. So Tim Anderson's gonna have to be back in that spot. I don't see him moving out of the 1 spot. Just saying, yeah, sure, I'll give it up. He's still got his image to kind of maintain too. But I don't see the problem with putting Tim Anderson in 1 and then moving and putting Robert at the 2 spot. You just move Grandal down and then you put Abreu into a cleanup spot. That's a great spot to be for a guy that seems to. I think Abreu wakes up and just steps on RBIs. He'll fall out of bed and drive in 2 runs. He's just incredible. And so, if you could get a guy in front of Robert getting on, and then letting him do what he does. And Anderson's got good speed. He can. If you want to move Anderson a little bit, you can. They're not going to not pitch to Lubob. They're going to still pitch to him. And then you've got to deal with everybody else down. You got to go with Moncada. Then you got to deal with Abreu. Then you got to deal with Eloy and Grandal. And it just gets worse.
The problem with that is I don't see Renteria moving Abreu. I really feel like that's a thing for him. He's going to stand pat.
The top 3 is set.
Yeah, I think it's Anderson, Moncada, Abreu. And so I think the only thing that's debatable now is, do you put Robert 4 or 5?
See,
You can still
he's
go
gonna
righty.
steal.
You can still go righty, lefty, righty. If you go T.A., Moncada, Abreu, Grandal, Robert 5.
Right. That's righty.
Yeah, Robert 5.
Yeah, that's righty switch,
And then
righty.
Eloy 6, and then whoever's your DH.
So and Carson Edwin, who isn't exactly hitting the cover off the ball before he got hurt.
He's day to day.
He should be moved down. I mean, when he's back too. I mean, he's
So
until he gets
at 7, and then you have whoever's playing second base,
and then right field.
well, probably Mazzara at 8, and then
second base, and then Lurie or Mendick.
Yeah, Mendick's been hitting, man.
What a hell of a problem to have.
I'm telling you, every guy who's like filling in right now has been pretty decent. Like Lurie filling in for TA, he's gotten like hit a whole bunch of hits. Mendick's like the only guy who got on.
I'm okay with Robert batting 5th for right now.
It's interesting. I'm curious to see what Henretta does. Would you be? I mean, honestly, if I'm looking at this lineup, I'm going Anderson, Robert, Moncada, Abreu, Grandal. Am I missing someone? Did I miss Angle? Was it Angle maybe?
No, Angle, he's not going to be up there.
Just say right field.
Yeah, just right field. Yeah, I'd put that right field. Whoever the right fielder is, I put the right fielder in the 8 spot, and then you get someone that's going to be that second leadoff in that 9 hole.
Second base at 9.
There you go. And then you have 2B, whoever that is. Not to be. And then
the reason why you say right fielder is because it's going to be Angle versus lefties and Mazzara versus righties.
When we look at on base percentage too, I mean, Moncada, Robert, Angle, Grandal. I mean, 2 guys getting on 4 out of 10 times at minimum. That's fantastic. And then you got some guys that, I mean, that's good to have, and that you want to have that. You want to have that at the top of your order. I feel weird saying that Lubob, because again, I was kind of against him moving up to 7 until the circumstance presented itself. But now I'm kind of in the I don't think he should move down that far either. I think he should. I think that should be a 2 hole.
So my bad. I had the wrong tab up. We got some YouTube comments here. Little Yumper, yes, I was drunk. It does happen. CK Beef, he did do it a lot at OSU, and that's what Kevin was talking about. How he's never been thrown out before, and it was just like a timing. Like it was. I know people like to say, "Oh, when was your welcome to the show moment?" Oh, when I hit this 2-run homer. No, that was Nick Madrigal's welcome to Major League Baseball moment. 100%. And then Nukes, that better not be Matanuco.
I don't think so.
No,
or maybe
I don't think Nukes has a logo. Our Nuke,
our intern better not be commenting
unless that's what he's been doing with his spare time, just making
our interns
a badass logo for himself.
I need some more coffee. I need some more.
Do you think Ricky is the man to take the Sox all the way? Now, that is a question that was being floated, and it was very heavily debated when they came out on a little losing streak. People were mad, and understandably so. So here's what my theory is on Ricky. First of all, we don't know who's making these lineups. In today's Major League Baseball, it could be the front office. It could be some dude in a room darker than all those that has to sit there and just look at analytics all day.
I will address the darkness and why it kind of looks like I'm in a hostage video in a minute.
Blink 1 for help, twice for really help.
So we don't know who's making these lineups every day. It's not like it used to be. The manager doesn't have, whatever. His in-game decisions have been better. There's been some weird bunting. Like, I don't get why Moncada's bunting, but that's fine. That's going to happen. His management of the bullpen has been masterful so far this year. Fantastic. And then I really think, and this is like the difference between Ricky's time with the Cubs versus Ricky's time with the Sox with these young teams. So this White Sox team is very heavy Latino. And I really think that Ricky appeals to them, and Ricky has earned the respect of that locker room. When these players talk about Ricky, they speak in a very high regard, and it doesn't seem forced. You see in videos like unprovoked, Tim Anderson's like, hold on, let me get the skip. He's the best manager in the league. And he pulls him into the video. The way that we saw actually when Luis Robert came in, it was some base running. You saw Ricky go right up to him, and he was definitely speaking Spanish because you couldn't read his lips. But he was telling him, Kevin, exactly what you were saying about Madrigal. You don't want to run unless you can see. He kept saying numbers on the back, numbers on the back. So he's like, you shouldn't be taking that base until you see that guy's numbers on his back or back pocket in your example. So I really think that Ricky has that locker room. I also think that he has a good understanding with Jose Abreu. Kind of like, don't fuck with me, I won't fuck with you, and we'll get this done together. That's one of the big reasons why I think Jose Abreu's not moving out of that third spot. I don't know.
Sadly, what I think is the biggest factor, if they want to move him or not move him, we are seeing it with the Bulls. It's because Jerry isn't going to want to spend for another manager. Again, we have no clue what Rick Renteria's contract situation is with the White Sox, but he's not nowhere near close. Mm-mm. One of the highest paid guys. So I don't think Jerry Reinsdorf is going to go out of his way this offseason to be like, you know what, let's go get this hot guy, whoever the number one hot candidate is to be a manager. Now we're seeing the trend where they're going young, they're going players who've been out of the league for a couple years. So sadly, I think it's just going to be the money. It's he's cheap and he's fine.
So was his contract?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Do we know the length of his contract, or do we know nothing? We know nothing. Dude, he could have been you get one more year. You're coaching for your job.
I think the last time I heard about it was after 2018. There was it happened a week before the season started, and there was just a vague report that he got an extension, but we didn't know how long and we didn't know for how much. That's literally the only thing that was reported.
We need Major League WikiLeaks. We need someone to drop that contract for us.
For all we know, he sliced open his hand and signed something in and they sacrificed the goat. And
that's how Jose Quintana actually signed his plane ticket.
Yep. So Tim Anderson quotes are getting fired off on Twitter right now. Tim Anderson on what he likes most about leading off. Quote, I get the party started. Yeah, that's what Tim Anderson does. But hey man, he's big energy. He's producing at the leadoff spot. Hopefully he's taking some ground balls in Schaumburg, but that's a little shade.
By the way, I do want to address David's question or comment that I am not letting any sunlight through my house. It's been 110 degrees or above for the past 45 days in Phoenix. I just got my electric bill. I do not need any more sun coming into my apartment. And that is why all shades closed all the time.
That's probably the best answer you could have given because, oh, God, I could not live in that.
Man, what would it be like if you lived in a place where it was 110 degrees outside? It would be terrible. Oh, wait.
I'm good, man. It's 76 in Chicago. This week's been awesome.
I hear you, Aldo. When we go outside, is it not like a hairdryer just blowing in your face?
It's disgusting.
Yeah, this is our winter here in the West. It's our winter. We don't go outside.
At least it's easier to quarantine. At least here it's 70. If you want to be outside and I want to drink in a beer garden. I want to do all this stuff right now.
I have zero interest to ever go out in the day when it's literally, not joking, it's been 110 for at least a month straight.
Yeah. I would not want, my electric bill would be so ridiculous because my AC would be set at 68.
It's a crack up here though, because Golden, hockey is now going on and it's freaking August. You're looking at, I'm watching some people walking around Las Vegas in this heat and they're wearing their hockey sweaters.
Yeesh.
I'm like, are you insane? And jeans. I'm like, what's wrong with you? But hey, it's, that's the good part about the, you got the heat. I mean, Arizona, that would have been a great place if they'd have bubbled up, but right now would not be the fun time.
It wouldn't have, because everyone had to be playing outside and just guys would be dropping even more every day.
Yeah, and Yumper, you're right. It's just
it's the same old shit from Jerry.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna go down this road again because if
it's not one team, it's the other.
Everybody knows it. It's gonna happen sooner or later, though, where we're gonna finally get new ownership in Chicago, and yeah, it is what it is with that. So, White Sox, since the last time we talked, they've won every game except for one. They had a 1-0 loss on Wednesday night to Milwaukee, but it's more credit to the pitching than like I said,
they're, as I said, annoyingly good pitching.
Annoyingly good starting pitching, and
because you don't really know these guys, and like, yeah, they've had like some success, but like they're just putting a group of guys that you maybe heard of once or twice, and they're going out there and shutting you down like nothing.
Right. And you know what? It's fine. Hauser pitched really well, had a really heavy fastball, getting a lot of ground balls. It's cool. Some of the good takeaways from a 1-0, the White Sox hit like 4 balls to the track. Steve Stone even said it's like weirdly cold. Like I said, it's in the 60s at night here right now. And the ball is just not traveling like it usually does. So whatever. I'm not going to make excuses. Hauser pitched really well. The biggest takeaway for me from that loss was Dallas Keuchel was very good again. Like very good.
Oh, I think I saw it was the most. I think he had 17 or 18 whiffs.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his highest since like the middle of 2017.
Dude, he looks very good. Like he looks. I don't want to say he looked like
he's pitching like Grace right now.
He's pitching very good. He went 7, gave up 5 hits, but the big thing was 8 strikeouts. He had 4 strikeouts total this season going into the game. He had 8 strikeouts in that game. I mean, it wasn't exactly a powerhouse lineup from Milwaukee, but still 8 strikeouts, and they were good strikeouts, good location. Dallas Keuchel looks legit this year, and knock on wood, he stays healthy because you have to say that about every pitcher right now, but he looks very good. So Sox got one more versus Milwaukee on Thursday night. You got Gio Gonzalez going against Lindblom. And then a weekend series at home against them damn Indians, man. And they look good too.
Their pitching is unbelievable. Again, like we said a couple weeks ago, no clue who is in their outfield. But I think the stat was Shane Bieber has held opponents to a lower. No, the OPS against Shane Bieber is like the same as their outfield, which is like in the 540s.
Yep, they're currently sitting on a 7-6 record as we record this on Thursday night. Sunday. We get that Bieber Giolito matchup. That should be good. Friday night, my boy, and I'm still calling him my boy, Dylan Cease. He gets a little. Hopefully, he can get a little payback, a little revenge game from the horrible outing he had earlier this year but he's got to go against Savali.
I think the key is just get Lindor out that first time and then keep that confidence going, because that kind of like his first start where he looked fine and then gave it the home run and kind of lost it.
It's very big for Dylan Cease to have a good first inning because he obviously is a very different pitcher when he's rolling with confidence. And Yumper, I'm not even going to bring that up yet. We're going to get to it in just a minute.
He's so excited for that. He called it too.
Yeah.
What do you think about your boy, Ross Detweiler?
So many boys. Which one?
Talking about saviors. He's been the savior this year.
So there's been a lot of talk with Ray Lowe being hurt and Carlos Rodon being banged up. Who's going to pitch, whatever. And some people said give Big Ross. Me? No. He's killing it with what he's doing right now. So why? Don't mess with it right now. The White Sox bullpen has been phenomenal so far. But
do you like what they're going to do on Saturday? Because that's Rodon's spot, and obviously he's not in there. So I think they're going to do bullpen day.
Which is, there you go with your Big Ross. Big Ross will probably get a big chunk of that. Here has been fantastic. That kid is throwing very good right now.
He's giving up an average of 84 miles an hour on his exit velocity. Yeah. He's not getting barreled up at all.
And they got the hold on, I got to find this kid's name because I don't want whoever.
Foster.
I got to find it. Yeah, Matt Foster. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Went to Alabama. So they talk about it ad nauseum when he pitches, which is fine. I mean, it's something to be proud of, but I don't get what Steve and Benetti have like this obsession with Alabama. But I tweeted out a joke terrible joke. Whatever. I just said, hey, did Matt Foster play at Alabama? Does anyone know? They haven't been talking about it. Just whatever. Like 3 days later, from nowhere, I got a reply from this woman on Twitter. Yeah, I'm his aunt. He's from blah, 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 Alabama. He's a good Christian boy. Played there every day. Came home from high school and played. And I'm like, I just wrote back, like, I'm sorry, ma'am. This was a joke. I didn't mean to, you know. And then, like, some other lady responded, like, yeah, he's from, like, all these, like, his aunts and, like, cousins in Alabama started coming at me, like, hell yeah, he's from Alabama. It's like, holy shit.
They're taking turns and logging into the computer.
Is he from Alabama and he went to
Yes.
the University of Alabama? See, that's the thing, though. You have to remember, there's no pro teams in Alabama. That's all they have.
I get it. It's been such a weird week for me on Twitter. Oh, we got to talk about the other weird.
So you're like
people reminding you that Jason Kipnis is from Chicago.
You're simultaneously like getting invited to family barbecues and like getting shunned.
That's the next thing I want to get to. Because after the Matt Foster fan club came at me, they were very nice though. They weren't mean or.
They just want to set you straight.
Yeah, they just wanted to make sure I know Matt Foster's from Alabama, which I will never forget. I hope to God I'm on a trivia show 20 years from now, and they're like, White Sox relieving pitcher Matt Foster played for what school? Boom. Alabama. I even got Crimson on today, baby.
Oh, there you
are
go.
we sure that are we sure he's not a big Auburn fan? I mean, do we have confirmation that he's
a Bama guy? Don't.
I think
you should ask your new
we're about to get like bombarded from Alabama fans after you just said that.
Mm-hmm.
So then the other family member who followed me on Twitter is Nick Madrigal's dad, which I think is actually kind of cool. I actually wouldn't mind having him on the show. He actually raised 2 boys to be Major League Baseball players. He knows kind of what he's doing right now. People forget Nick Madrigal's brother got signed by the White Sox.
Was that like a Kenny Williams' son signing?
I think he's pretty good, I guess. I haven't really gone.
No disrespect. I'm just asking. I don't know.
But so Madrigal's dad followed me on Twitter, and now he's starting to like my tweets. And
like best buds.
I don't think I'll ever say anything bad about Madrigal, but I'm nervous.
I don't think you can, though.
I can. I don't think I can. So here's the deal. If you don't want me to talk shit about you on Twitter, just have your dad or aunt or someone follow me, because then I feel bad. I don't want to talk shit about you in front of your family members.
I'm texting my mom right now. She's on Twitter.
So yeah, that was strange. I think I'm going to the next Madrigal family barbecue, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, there's no real big Sox news. I mean, we touched on it. I think this series against Cleveland this weekend's big. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we're 16.7% through the season. I don't know, whatever number that throw out
I know
there.
very well how this would translate in a regular season. So.
But I think this is a big series. You're tied with Cleveland. Obviously, the top 2 teams make
automatically go in the playoffs. So it's important to get into second place. Sorry, I'm laughing because of the comment. He found out you love his son as much as he does. So. It's like you, King Mac, and then Nick Madrigal's dad.
I don't know, man. Mac is. I really think Mac would ride on somebody for Madrigal right now. Like Mac's, I don't know. I wouldn't fuck with Mac when it comes to. There's like a whole little corner, dude, of Madrigal stands, and yeah.
Rightfully so, though. Plays the game. He plays the game in a way that people really kind of attracted to.
Yeah, I don't want to go down this road again. But he's a good player. He's an easy guy to root for.
He's like everything Nick Swisher wanted to be.
Oh, fuck Nick Swisher. That's the drinking game. We should make it so when you tweet this episode out, just say drink every time Zoe says fuck Nick Swisher.
I think we got 2 so far. 3.
3. 4 now.
We're not there yet.
Hammered by the time this thing's over.
But
that's Aloha Mr. Hand right there.
Oh, yep.
Only 2 finger shots, though, Mr. Hand.
No, he'll put it all in one shot and just take it all at once. But yeah, big series. You're seeing Cleveland's ace, obviously, on Sunday, but like you said, although the rest of their pitching's been annoyingly good. I think that's the best way to put it right now. Just annoyingly good. Yeah, he's been lights out.
It's like frustrating because like I mean they're not big names yet. I mean they're barely coming up there. Like they barely started last year, but it's like what?
Yeah,
Who
you
are
got
these guys?
Savali on Friday night, who pitched really good against the Sox. Then Plesac versus the bullpen on Saturday, and then you wind it up with like an all-star game on Sunday where you have Bieber versus Giolito. Bieber's been so good, dude. He's 3-0 with a .83 ERA.
Decent.
He's been so good. And then we haven't even talked. I mean, they still have Clevenger and Carrasco too.
Mm-hmm. No, all their guys are. I mean, and they have to be because their offense is shit.
I can't name one guy in the outfield for Cleveland.
I think I only know Zimmer.
Yeah, Zimmer, because he played for the Royals.
I don't even know, but I just remember I think he hit a home run, and I think Mercado because he had a nice slide against the Reds on Wednesday night, so that was cool. Those are the only two guys I know.
That's really it. I mean,
oh wait, no, I'm lying. Okay, I do know these guys, but even when you know them, it's not like, oh wow, that's a good player. Like they have Framil Reyes, who sometimes plays center. They got him in a trade, but he's not that good.
Yeah, it's not like I sit here and I'm like, oh shit, Zimmer's up. Like
again, the OPS for the outfielders combined is like 543 or something.
Yeah, the Indians have two players that are hitting over 240.
Yeah, again, offense is shit.
40. Dear God, that's horrible.
Lindor is like grinding into double plays with the bases loaded. It's not.
Basically, we just say that happens. Madrigal did it.
Only the worst player. No.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't suck if like Savali had like a off night on Friday and the White Sox touched him up for 10 runs, because I mean a 5-run lead I feel pretty good right now against the Indians. Like,
speaking of that, I do have to ask. So I don't think it's by the end of this season, will Alex Colomé remain the closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if they're going to make the playoffs.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they're going to have Aaron Bummer. I think like that's their closer of the future. I think, right?
Yeah, he's my closer in MLB The Show too. But yeah, I mean, the thing about Colomé, he works really slow and he likes to get into 3-2 counts, which is not exactly what you want from your closer.
I have no clue what you're talking about with relievers getting into long counts.
He hasn't blown a save yet.
Hey, Craig Kimbrell hasn't either. People forget.
Getting the job done.
Undefeated when he pitches.
Cubs are undefeated when Kimbrell pitches. But yeah, back to Colomé.
Sox are undefeated with Madrigal plays.
Oh no! What if they just go on like another losing? Oh boy!
Yeah, that'd be rough.
You just spoke that into existence.
Oh no! So what have you done?
Oh, it's all over Twitter. Coleman's pitched 5 games. He's got 3 saves, 5 innings pitched. He's given up 5 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. His K/9's 5.4. He's got a 1.20 HIP and a 0 ERA. Like, that's a good closer. It's a good closer. Those numbers are great. It's just people just don't like how he operates. You know,
if fastball velocity down at all? That's the only thing that I'd be worried about.
He's going more cutter. He's abusing that cutter. People are going to catch up to it too. He's not Mariano Rivera. I mean, he's abusing that cutter. But if we did one of those like,
shit, you're not joking. So according to Fangraphs, so far, Alex Colomé 74.7% cutters, 25.3% fastballs.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And right now it's working, but as the first time he can't locate something with those, it's going to be.
And yeah, no, he is his velocity is down a few miles per hour so far. So he's been throwing. 2018, he was throwing like 95.6. So he's basically been a like 95 mile per hour guy. Last year, that went a little down to 94.7, and then this year it's gone down to 93.9.
Yes, but he's locating pitches, so that's why he's getting by. But he's also throwing a shit ton of pitches. Like for a closer, he shouldn't have that many.
His cutter is down 2 miles per hour actually this year.
He's throwing a real nice ball.
I know it's good. It's interesting though, because you do get a point where if a guy gets shaky enough, I mean, you can work around it this year. I think because I think the Sox are in good shape to make the postseason.
Right. Some people are saying that Cody Hewer might be our closer of the future.
Oh, he's also been impressive. I mean, your entire bullpen. Fucking jealous.
This is what I'm saying about Coleman, though. If I didn't say his name and I just read off that stat line, you'd be like, that's a pretty fucking good closer.
The key is just not giving up walks.
He's only given up, what, 2, 3?
Oh, so that's good.
One walk. He's walked one guy in 5 innings.
But yeah, no, I think it's I mean,
Indian.
I'm not going to be concerned right now, but
no, and I
definitely think right now the Sox aren't thinking like, we're going to bring back Alex Coleman to be our closer next year.
No, not for that money either. But I think the reason why it's being discussed at length in White Sox Twitter is because he doesn't do it easy. You know what I mean? He'll get into 3-2 counts, and a guy will foul off 4 pitches, and it's like, all right, we're at the 8th pitch of this at bat. And it's like, just get the fucking guy out, man. But yeah, as of right now, I'm good with him. I'll ride with him as the closer. I got nothing. I'm not going to go down to negative town. But let's keep talking about bullpens.
Ooh.
Let's.
Segue.
Let's go to the north side of town. And
why do I smell hot, wet trash?
I believe on this show, in jest, I said, after I said Kelvin Herrera was released, I believe I said, I think there's a team on the north side of town that could use some bullpen help. In which both of you were like, no way, get out of it. That'll never happen. And we all laughed. We had a good time. He's laughing it up. He's enjoying himself. And then on Thursday night, right before we started recording this, it came out. The Cubs signed Kelvin Herrera. At the Cubs signed Kelvin Herrera.
I don't like when he goes out there and gets Rolaids Relief Man of the Year award.
Degrees in Arizona before then. If you were in all those general facilities, the temperature went up to about 200.
I do not like the fact that there was like a lot of people making that joke, and then it happened a week later.
Yeah, but hey, he's been good once, right? I guess he can.
As I said, okay, so like the only reason I was like just
so cooked,
unsettled, upsetting, mad, like for like the first minute, because I just like finished reading this like phenomenal quote about Cubs prospect Brennen Davis being compared to a fucking Hall of Famer, talking about like Cubs coach has been there since 2009, and he's like just raving about this 20-year-old outfield prospect. It's like, fuck yeah. And then I go on Twitter, first thing I see, Cubs signed Kelvin Herrera. Ugh. All right, so here's again, like all these other signings, like Cody Allen, they signed this other dude who's like with the Blue Jays, I think.
Why do I know that name? Cody Allen.
Because he used to be a fucking badass closer for the Indians.
Okay.
And here's the thing. Like, the Cubs are signing these guys who were, like, great. It's basically like Ryan Pace, like, building, like, the 2015 Pro Bowl. Like, the Cubs are, like, signing all the best relievers from, like, 4 or 5 years ago. But it's not 4 or 5 years ago. It's 2020. Kelvin Herrera he was good 2 years ago still. Went to the Sox again, as we've discussed. Fastball velocity went down. He doubled his walk rate last year with the Sox. Started to give up more home runs, which is a concern. But I guess, like I wrote about it, how home runs went through the roof in 2019. So that's like nothing specific for Herrera. But his fastball velocity keeps going down. That's gone down again in 2020 before the Sox released him. So I don't know. Like, the Cubs are at a point where, okay, fine. And like I said, like I cooled down. Got it wasn't like 130 degrees anymore around me. And just like these other signings, it's depth. You see, if it's a minor league deal, if it doesn't work out, who cares? You're bringing in a guy who's had success, and you're saying if you can figure something out. I mean, if you can make one little adjustment, they've done it with other guys. They've done it with Rowan Wick came in, Kyle Ryan before his velocity went down too. And it's like, hey, maybe they can make this one little tweak, a little adjustment, and get this guy right. And hey, you got a guy for like no money.
Right.
If it doesn't work out, who cares? Release him. It doesn't matter. But
yeah, they sent him to
to their South Bend location.
Right. Yeah.
And like that, but the one thing I don't want is like I don't want there to be a conversation like later in the month or in September, whenever it is. I don't want this scenario where the Cubs are deciding between Kelvin Herrera and like a young prospect. Just go with the young prospect. Like, come on. Like, we don't need to see. I don't want to see. I don't think a lot of fans want. I don't think anyone wants to see Kelvin Herrera pitch. In the 8th inning in a 2-1 game in September.
Right.
Unless he's all of a sudden been tearing it up out of the blue. But
I honestly don't think you see Kelvin Herrera in a Chicago Cubs uniform this season. I mean, if you do, and Yump is correct. I'm just gonna call you Yump. I'm not gonna keep saying Lil Yumper. Yump is correct.
LY. There you go.
Yump. I like Yump. Yump's correct. It really does feel like Theo and Jed are just basically just throwing the pasta against the wall, seeing what sticks, seeing, you know what I mean? And
you got to do what you got to do when your bullpen's a dumpster fire.
The only thing is with Herrera, I mean, he was literally playing in your backyard. You saw he's cooked. The dude's cooked. I mean, they had to have gotten him for crazy cheap, right?
It's a minor league deal. It's like it's prorated too. It's not like I don't think it's gonna be $1 million.
All right, so
it's not a risky investment. I mean, it's not. I mean, Rick is
no risk. It's like no risk.
I'm taking this ship and I'm steering it away from this, and we're getting right in. You guys have the hottest team in the National League right now. We don't need to be talking.
Some would say.
Yeah, we don't really need to be talking about fuck the Yankees. I'll take the Cubs. I hate the Yankees more than I hate the Cubs. I'll put it that way. Yeah, Cubs are on fire, dude. Was it 7 in a row?
Six in a row heading into Thursday night.
6 in a row heading into Thursday night. And yeah, man. I mean,
what I want to say, there are lots of 2016 parallels, which people forget. The Cubs won the 2016 World Series. Mm-hmm. The starting rotation, historic starting rotation so far through 12 games. Kyle Hendricks has the highest ERA out of them at like 3.54 or something.
Explain historic.
Historic. So I think it's the best. I think it's like the lowest batting average, lowest hits allowed since at least 1901.
In the modern baseball, in the
like modern baseball,
era.
Probably goes before that, but like when things were actually kept on record. Let's see. I think they're now. It's been 3 games in a row. Guys has pitched at least 7 innings.
Well, I mean, even Thursday night, going into this game, you have the 2-0, 0.71 ERA having Tyler Chatwood pitching for you.
1 run in his first 2 starts, and I mean, hopefully that should continue against a bad Royals team.
Can we stay there for a second, though? Because now there's been talk that when Quintana comes back, putting Tyler Chatwood back in the bullpen to give that bullpen a little boost because it's been bad.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you're on board with, or I'm kind of in the mindset of the guy's 2-0 with a 0.71 ERA?
Counter, that was from just one guy. What the Cubs have actually been talking about is putting Jose Quintana in the bullpen. So
Jose Quintana in the bullpen.
From my understanding, that is what, because they talked about it, I think on Wednesday, is so the original plan was obviously fucked up his thumb from whatever he did.
Dishes.
The original plan was obviously you're thinking about stretching him back out as a starter, like maybe he goes back to back in the rotation by August. But as we've seen through the first couple weeks of the season, rotation has been lights out. Alec Mills has been fantastic. Tyler Chatwin. Oh man, I said that that was just in my head. He's been amazing. So there's no way you could, if this even continues for a little bit, I mean, I don't think these guys are going to be pitching a below 1 ERA, but if they just continue this hot streak where they're going 6 innings and just keeping the Cubs in every single game, the Cubs are already talking about how, he's going to pitch BP or simulated games for a couple more weeks, and then we're going to evaluate the rotation and how the bullpen is. So from what I took away is, hey, if the rotation just keeps going and the bullpen still needs help, which, I mean, it is going to need help, they're probably just going to put Quintana in the bullpen, and he'll continue. If they ever do want him putting back in the rotation, if let's say a guy struggles in the next month or so, Quintana can get those innings in and stretch out from the bullpen. which is a perfect scenario for the Cubs.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm loving this Quintana to the bullpen. I think it's a great move for him.
Well, you don't. If it ain't broke, you don't fix it. It's ridiculous that even and I think it was Gordon. What's Gordon from the? Yeah, who's the one that threw that out there on the radio today? And it's absurd to think that you would take a historic, literally the best start for a starting pitching rotation in the modern baseball era, and you're going to say, yeah, no, dude that was been mediocre this whole time, who cut his thumb doing quote unquote dishes, is going to go ahead and just bump one of these guys out. Now, look, will he eventually, if Alec Mills or Chatwood kind of like, eventually, they're not going to be historic for. I mean, if they are historic, fantastic. But you doubt that's going to keep up.
If the Cubs rotation has a 1.95 ERA, they are winning the World Series. I'm going to go out on a limb.
And you don't mess with it until you have to. And so Quintana needs to go. He threw a bullpen today.
Clip that audio.
Here's the thing. The Cubs rotation isn't going to stay with the 1.95 ERA.
I know.
So, but you do clip that audio.
They're hanging in there long enough for the offense to get going, though. That's the best part about this is the offense hasn't been like lights out. It's been clutch in the 7th through 9th inning. But the starting rotation has allowed the Cubs to stay in games long enough for their big bats to finally get going, whether it's at the end of the game. Now they haven't hit that peak where they're really strafing the baseball all around. They're winning 5-1, 3-0. When the offense does click as it's supposed to, I'm assuming that's when the starting pitching is going to probably hit a little bit of a wall, and it's going to kind of be a nice balance of you guys struggled, and now we're going to kind of go struggle, but you're going to pick us up now by scoring 8 or 9 runs in a game. Like you can do that, and I think that's kind of where it's headed. But it's unbelievable to watch. Alec Mills has been, someone was actually concerned with Alec Mills being back to back with Kyle Hendricks, and what did Kyle Hendricks do? Same thing. He went undominated. I don't think you have to worry about their stuff being so similar that they're not going to be effective going back to back against the same team. It's a totally different. I mean, it's 24 hours difference. You're not going to get your timing down on guys like that. They're both magicians out there, and I love watching those two guys together.
And then, as a question, which I've seen also brought up a bunch of times from some other people, though, do you think they would try to flip a Quintana for some bullpen help? I think Quintana is the bullpen help. I'm all in on that idea. I think it's a great idea, especially in this shortened season where people are weirded out by trades and like the whole isolating and like no one's going to trade with the Cardinals or the Marlins because their guys are all fuck ups and they're doing this shit. And like, I really hated seeing Yadi Molina get COVID. Obviously, I hope he's fine. I don't wish ill, and I'm not cheering for an injury, as I've said earlier, but fuck Yadi Molina.
Shit, that COVID stuck to him like pine tar on a chest protector.
Chest protector.
I think a lot of that was very good. So I think a lot of the talk about, because even I brought it up, but it was for the Sox. But I mean, the Sox aren't gonna. It doesn't. They're just gonna stay in house.
Someone else float that out too, not just you. Someone else did the whole.
I think Bleacher Nation they wrote about it too. It's like, should the Cubs consider trading Quintana back to the Sox? But like you said, I don't think.
I will give you one Alex Colomine for Quintana.
We've seen like very minor trades so far. I just don't see any major things going down. The only angle besides just trying to get another reliever for like a top end, I mean, I don't think you're not gonna get a top end reliever, Jose Quintana, is like, oh, maybe the Cubs want to do it for like salary relief and like get underneath the luxury tax for the year because you don't want the repeat penalties. And again, we've MF Tom Ricketts for a year that of course the Cubs can afford the penalties, but okay, fine. We have to accept the fact that that's just not going to be the case. And the sad thing is they're just probably not going to spend their next offseason. So they're just not going to have those penalties again. So I don't think the worry about like getting underneath the threshold and like shedding payroll, and obviously Quintana is one of those guys that you can do. So it's like I don't think that's really a priority for them. And again, like Zoe, like you said, yeah, I think right now putting Quintana in as your bullpen help, I like it. I think you get more from that than bringing in a guy and hoping that he will help your bullpen.
Now the Cubs are going to play the Cardinals as scheduled, correct?
Yes.
So far, so good.
Okay, because that's what they got coming up this weekend. Thursday night they're in Kansas City, layup, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Are they playing
in St. Louis?
St. Louis?
Yeah, they're like a 3-hour bus ride.
Right. No, I get that, but wasn't their clubhouse the one that got cooties?
the home clubhouse. Nobody's
Yeah,
gotten cooties.
Yeah, there was no one from. It was just them. So
all right. Well, I got to imagine they bleach bombed the shit out of that clubhouse by now. But
I did find it, by the way. I think we talked about it. I found it really interesting that Colton and Yachty both threw the other 4 guys that came down with COVID under the bus in their statements. Like they're like, I did everything and I followed all the protocol and I still got it. Basically saying it wasn't me, it was one of these other dipshits. And both of their releases basically said that, which kind of cracks me up because, I mean, wow, that's a great kind of teammate thing to do, is to let everyone else know that it wasn't you that got COVID, but this dipshit over here did, and you kind of threw the guy under the bus.
Either way, it's a bad luck because number one, either they're telling the truth and they just threw the other guys underneath the bus, or 2, they're just lying. So
speaking of telling the truth, did you see how Jeter tried to spin zone the Marlins?
Oh.
What do you say? I saw something. Oh, I saw one of them. He was trying to get milk.
Yeah, the guy got it because he was going out to get milk for his family, and the other guy got it because he went to a dinner.
Derek, stop.
Come on, dude. It was hilarious. He was dead ass serious. So, oh, it was awesome.
Did he send him a gift basket?
Probably.
See, that's the thing. You think like Derek Jeter had everything like on lockdown when he was a player. So like he should be better at these like hiding things. Like don't give us the milk story.
Yeah, that was awesome though. When he's like, the guy got it because he went to the corner store getting his wife and child some milk.
All right, so let's keep going with 2016 Cubs parallels. Again, Cubs 10-2 off to the best record since the last time that they won the World Series. In 2016. Because people
it's
forget.
Their best start since 2000 or since 1969. Actually, first 12 games, it's their best start since 1969.
Let's not talk about those chokers. No offense. I know everybody.
Shorter season, they wouldn't have choked if it was 69.
I know everyone loves the 69 Cubs, but let's call it spade a spade. So another parallel, 2016 team. All right, so right now, Cubs tied with the Padres with 28 runs in the 7th inning or later this year. 11 home runs, 949 OPS. That leads the majors. We saw, and it became a little Twitter thing during 2016 when it was F the closer, fuck the closer, get those runs in the 7th and 8th inning. So you turn like a 2-3 run ball game into like a 4, 5, 6 run ball game, and then you screw out. At the time, it was like Hector Rondon, and then they get trade for Chapman. Screw the closers out of a save opportunity, and we're seeing that again. Mm-hmm. I brought up how the 3 times that Craig Kimbrell has come in and given up runs, the Cubs were able to extend their leads the inning before. And thank God, because they would have lost all 3 games. And we've seen it with like other guys too when they've come in. That's a great sign. As you said, Kevin, this is what good teams do. They add on late. They get to those bullpens.
That's the championship rounds. Innings 7 through 9, you're in a close ball game. And I use this kind of term quite frequently in our message too. But when you're getting, it's a 1-run game or a 2-run game, and you go into you're the home team and you go in the bottom of the 8th inning, and you go up there and put up like a 2 spot, you knock your opponent's dicks right in the dirt. Like it's out, it's over. It's you put them away, and that is such a deflator. When you have a team that can do that and consistently do that, it really does. It makes it easier on your bullpen, but it really does knock your opponents out. Like your opponents, it feels like a 10-run game all of a sudden when you go from being down 1 or 2, and then all of a sudden it's a 3-run deficit, 4-run deficit, or better yet, 1 swing can't even tie a game. That makes it huge, and those are winning teams do that. Those are the championship rounds. Make no mistake about it. Teams that score late generally win more ball games, and I don't know. I don't have a stat to back that up. I could just tell you over experience over the years. Teams that score late generally have high clutch rating, and they tend to get it done when it matters most. And the Cubs have been doing it consistently this year. Next man up too. I love it. It's a different hero. It seems like every night, which is
straight up TW, baby.
Yep, it's ELE. Everybody love everybody.
By the way, okay, last parallel 2016.
Oh boy,
here we go. And this is a big thing because it was noticeably missing for the past couple of years, especially last year when it was a shit show.
Going to mimes and having magicians come in the clubhouse.
Almost.
Damn.
So this was from a couple days ago, but the Cubs were at 15 defensive runs saved, and that was leading the league. The 2016 Cubs considered one of the best defensive teams ever in MLB history. So the Cubs right now aren't to that level yet, but that defense is just lights out. Chris Bryant making every fucking play, except for like one. There was like one misplay in Cincinnati. Baez obviously getting everything. The tags are back.
As far
Zoe's favorite. Rizzo playing his same
There
gold
was some
glove
tags.
defense.
There was some.
Horner just like fucked up a couple times, but fine. But
He
he's
made a
been
nice
solid
play
in
to his
second.
left the other night too.
The outfield, Kyle Schwarber again isn't as bad as like everyone wants to make him to be. Jason Hayward's the same gold glove defense and right. And Ian Happ is like average in center. That's fine. He's never going to be great, but he's good enough.
Cubs are leading the Major League Baseball in team WAR.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. I want to see defensive stats though here.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do, and it's weird how a pitching staff can energize. Like if you play top this, the pitching staff starts playing well, the offense. Some of those guys are like, well, okay, my turn. Let me contribute. And so that really does push a team too. That's what I kind of like. Like this Chatwood resurgence. I mean, that's such a big deal. That Chatwood resurgence must make guys that have struggled feel better because he waited his time and he's having success now. And we've got a guy like Albert Almora that might struggle a lot, or Ian Happ more specifically, I think is a better example. Ian's kind of struggled a little bit, but I think Ian Happ's been an unsung hero.
Wait, struggled where?
No, I'm saying that he struggled early on in his career, and now he's starting to put together. Like you know what I mean? Those guys that keep plugging away until it finally works, and there was a lot of pressure on him, and now Happ is starting to become the player that I think a lot of people believed him to be, and that's exciting. Almora unfortunately has gone the other direction, but that's the fun part of this too.
Here we go. Cubs do currently, so up to date heading into Thursday night. Cubs with 16 defensive runs saved, number 1 in Major League Baseball. Bang.
That's
bam. Hold on, I'm trying
Wilson
to.
Contreras has been doing a better job of not throwing the ball away, but he did do it against Kansas City, which
Here we go.
Bad mistake.
So
should have thrown that. Yeah, I should have canned that one.
Just going off of fielding percentage.
No.
The White Sox, yeah. The White Sox are the 4th best defensive team in the league, and the Cubs are 17th.
So, do you know how many errors the Cubs made in 2016?
No. Why the fuck would I know that?
Again, and like this isn't, I know the whole argument, and I get your point, Kevin, of like errors, and obviously errors like the routine plays. Again, this isn't me making this up. This is a fact. The 2016 Cubs, one of the best defensive teams in MLB history. They were like 21st in errors. They had like 111 errors.
Well, right now the current Cubs have 7. The White Sox have 3.
Does not determine in this day and age of how good your defensive play is. I'm sorry.
I mean,
it's one factor, but you just can't look at that.
I mean, the routine is obviously important, but then you take away from like how many times does a guy snag a ball that the average routine player isn't going to make. You get a guy that can maybe is an extra 4 or 5 steps in the outfield or better lateral quickness. Javi does it. Javi clanks routine things all the time, but then he'll make a play that blows your mind. Bodie, yeah. He's terrible at second base, but he's still
He'll botch a ball like once every 2 games when he's out there, but he'll just make barehanded like on slow rollers like nothing.
Yep. He makes some big time plays.
The Baltimore Orioles are the 2nd best defensive team in Major League Baseball right now.
Are they?
Yeah, fielding percentage wise.
Oh, well, I mean, again.
Yeah.
I think they played like the 2nd least games. So that's another thing where you go small sample size. Like there's just not there so far through the season. The guys just don't have that many chances. So like if you have 1 error, it's going to impact your fielding percentage that much more. That's why I just can't look at fielding percentage right now, especially right now. It's only.
So what do you look at when you're trying to judge best defensive teams or which
defensive runs saved?
What's the abbreviation for that?
DRS. So I'm just looking at fan graphs.
That's where I'm at right now too.
DRS. Their defensive rating was just DEF.
All right, DRS. Hold on. Yeah, DEF. Cubs are 7th, and the White Sox are. How the fuck are the White Sox 21st? They have
exactly so.
Here you go. Oh wait, this is 2019. Damn it. Oh, it doesn't have 2020 in there. I was going to say I was like, damn, that's a really impressive stat. But Baseball Savant doesn't have this year's defense available yet.
And for individual players, you look at UZR. That's like determines like their range. So does a guy get to more balls than the average fielder?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Robert just catches every ball in the outfield.
Robert's he's gonna like lead like everyone in that because his range is the outfield.
Yes. He did it again on Wednesday night. Eloy's awesome, dude. He's just such a fun guy. Robert went right in front of him and caught a ball like in left field. Like it was Eloy's ball 100%. Robert ran in front and caught it, and Eloy just stood back like this and watched him catch the ball, and then he turned around and Eloy just was like, "You son of a bitch." And then they started laughing. But like I like seeing that, man. I like when people have fun playing games. So
Cubs and Sox, the two like most fun teams in the league so far.
yes.
Every time I look at them in the dugout, they're just laughing, having a good time.
So is this like the new club dub, by the way, what they're doing now after games, where they do a little TikTok dance or whatever in the clubhouse?
Dubs? I don't know.
Dance for dubs, or is that?
I think that's like a club dub ultralight. Mm-hmm. I think that was just
or the disco dance party from the Cubs Cup in 2016.
Yeah, I think Zach Collins and Danny Mendick just did it to mess around on Instagram, and then somebody found it and put it on Twitter, and then it kind of just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And
say what you want about Joe Madden. I was a big fan of that 30-minute party, and then 30 minutes you flush it. Win or lose, 30 minutes, it's in your head, and then you walk out of the clubhouse, 30 minutes later, it's gone no matter what. I like that mentality.
People forget that Matt Nagy got that idea from Joe Madden. So the whole club dub.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Tyler Chatwood going should be great. I mean, it's the Royals are just so bad. We talked about it, the Royals, the Pirates. Pirates are garbage too.
Yeah, but the Pirates beat the Twins.
No clue how they beat the Twins. They're just garbage.
Let's go.
Chatwood. And Chatwood's tonight, right? Or is it Leicester tonight?
Chatwood.
Chatwood is fourth in the league with a 40.4 strikeout rate.
This show comes out on Friday. You got to say
behind Bieber, Bauer, and Gray, and then Chatwood. That's quite a great company to keep.
Mm-hmm. Chatwood's balling, dude. His pitch when the pitching ninja is putting up his like overlays, that shit's filthy, dude.
When he's throwing strikes, it's over. He's good. This is the guy that we thought maybe we were getting, and maybe we talked about it last show. I think he had the potential to be like an Arrieta find, a guy that just hadn't put it all together, or had like some road splits that were really incredibly good, but it just didn't pan out initially. Whereas Arrieta came over, and it was almost like he made a quick transition at like almost from the start. Chatwood's taken a couple of years, but I could see Chatwood throwing a no-no. I could see him. He's dirty enough to miss enough.
You guys are gonna beat that Jake Arrieta drum like no one's business.
Oh. He's not Jake. He's different, but not different in a weird way. I wouldn't be shocked if Chatwood takes no-nos, 4 or 5 innings, like he did, like Arrieta used to always do routinely, and then whatever happens. But I can see Chatwood throwing a no-no. I actually could. The way he's missing barrels like this, that's a huge benefit.
Speaking of comparisons, I want to bring up, and we can end the Cubs talk with this. So the Cubs manager at AAA for the Iowa Cubs, I think it's Marty Peavy. He's been in the Cubs organization since 2009. He started when the Cubs are still the Peoria Chiefs down there in single A ball. He was the minor league hitting coordinator for 3 years. Then he's been the manager at AAA since 2013. So he's seen guys come up like Javier Baez, Jorge Soler, Schwarber. Did I ever say Chris Bryant? I forgot. He's seen a whole bunch of guys, great power, coming up for the Cubs organization. But this is what he said. This is what he told Tommy Birch, as the Cubs, all their prospects, or the prospects that they're actually working out right now. This is what he said about 20-year-old outfielder Brennen Davis. I've never, and this is the God's honest truth, I have never seen power like this kid's going to have. I'm not talking about pull power. I'm talking about just raw leverage power, like Dale Murphy driving the ball to right center early in his career. Holy smokes. He's got some pop. Now, I'll admit, I've never seen Dale Murphy play. I do know one thing. He's a Hall of Famer, and I will take a Hall of Fame comparison any day of the week.
That's a good comparison. That's a good ball player. That's a good guy to have kind of like troll your spot for a while. I mean,
what position does he play?
I think he's mostly right field, I think.
Can he play center field?
Probably.
You guys need him more.
If he's more like Dale Murphy, he'll probably be better off in right. But that's a Hayward kind of thing.
Yeah, Jay Hay can play center then.
Kind of stuck there. But that's a great comparison, because Murphy, he was obviously, although you were a lot younger, but it was him, I think, with Bob Horner, also another good Brave at the time. Those guys were they were top tier in the league. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer, but God, that's a good comparison.
He has the diamond card in MLB The Show, and he's very easy to hit with. So
which is the gauge.
There you go.
The real gauge. Yeah, I like that.
You know what? So far in his career, Brennen Davis has played 31 starts in center, 23 in left, 6 in right. So he's mainly played in center field.
Oh, there you go.
Center fielder.
Yumper had a good question too. Is if Chatwood continues to do what he's doing, are the Cubs gonna extend this? Are they gonna extend him?
I think you got to if the dude keeps going like he's going.
I think you got to because like you're basically replacing the Quintana. And here's the thing: we have no clue what the hell these contracts are going to be. So you're basically getting the Quintana money out of there, maybe giving it to Chatwood, like less than that. Lester, he's probably going to get bought out. And I mean, at this point, if Lester keeps pitching how he is, the Cubs are definitely going to want to rework like a short-term contract with him.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, it's not going to be $25 million that the option is. But yeah, no, I mean, definitely because the Cubs, I mean, they don't have like any surefire this prospect can be in a rotation next year. Maybe we see it like next year where a guy develops into like, hey, this guy can be your option later on. But right now there's no clear cut. Yeah, you can rely on this younger guy to be in your rotation. So, I mean, Alec Mills isn't going to cost a lot of money. So, yeah, I mean, if you can work something out, it's only been 2 starts, but very encouraging, but I do want to take a step back and be like, let's see how the season ends.
Let's see him tonight. Let's just take it game by game, really. I mean, because we've seen the wheels come off before with him, so you want to make sure. But tonight's going to be fun. Team he should dominate. Let's see if he actually shows up and dominates, or is his mindset different? I feel like he's one of those guys that benefited from no crowd. I'll be honest. I feel like he's one of those few players that are like going out and pitching. I hope it's not the crowd. I hope it's just he figured it out, but it can't hurt for him to get his.
I also wonder, and I think Kevin, you're the one who shared the clip where I think it was Chatwood talking about David Ross. Maybe it was Chatwood, but
about him getting into the dugout and just having that leadership or whatever. And
yeah, so I also wondered, like, there's this factor of when Joe Maddon was the Cubs manager, where I think Ben Zobrist signed, a couple other guys, and like they specifically signed with the Cubs because of Joe Maddon, and in a couple cases even like took less money. So I wonder if like Chatwood has maybe this newfound respect or just loves David Ross as a manager, where maybe he gives the Cubs some. I mean, again, it's one like good stretch here because he's been pretty brutal before, where he gives them a little bit of a discount. I don't know. Who knows?
Could be. I mean, they've been patient with him.
But again, I haven't like the free agency this offseason with everyone claiming that they're losing money, and who knows how the contracts are going to be.
Yeah, I don't bank on hometown discounts anymore.
No, I mean,
don't really have an abundance of pitching. Chatwood definitely would hold the cards there a little bit.
No, definitely. But yeah, let's hopefully just keeps it going for the next 2 months.
Yes, that would be somewhat ideal. So we got 2 big weekend. Well, yeah, the Cubs, obviously, anytime you play the Cardinals, it's a big series. Even no one knows what kind of state they're in. And then
it's a big thing. The Cubs are pretty up like 4 games in the division.
You can, I mean, this is when you step on their neck and just,
And they've played so few games. I mean, them coming back, are they going to be rusty? What are the Cardinals going to look like? Haven't had this layoff? Like, is it going to be? You wonder. I mean, it makes me worry about the Cubs' mindset too. Are they going to go? I mean, so far so good, but are they going to go in there taking it like as a, maybe taking it a little bit lighter because they know that they're not ready, or are the Cubs going to go in there and say, "I smell blood. Let's go cut their throats right now." First weekend of the season, cut the Cardinals' throat and send them down a spiral. Because that could happen too. I mean, St. Louis fans aren't known for being logical, and so if they go down even more and all this stuff happens, they could really cut them at least pretty good.
Yeah, and then the White Sox. I mean, this could be a huge weekend to create some separation between them and Cleveland. Who, as we record this, Cleveland's up 1-0 in the top of the third. But
hell yeah, beat those Reds.
Looks like Pitching Ninja just put some up from Castillo. He's got some good stuff going. So.
By the way, I do want to say for anyone who dares to make the point that whatever team doesn't matter if it's the Cubs, Sox, whoever, is A, just beating up on bad teams, or 2, beating up on teams that are injured?
Everyone's injured.
Number 1, like every team is just getting injured.
Every team is injured.
2, like, would it be better if these teams just lost to those bad teams? Like, what, like, why? I've never
This
gotten.
guy's just doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
I've never gotten the argument of, oh, I mean, you're beating bad teams. Again, no shit. When you're a good team, you're supposed to beat the bad teams. That is how you get a high win percentage. And then you just, you compete against the really good teams. Like,
this guy's just doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Oh man!
You play the games you gotta play.
Let's wait and see. Like, what's the alternative? Like, should the Cubs just lost to the Pirates?
I don't think, and Cub fans aren't. I mean, I'm hopefully not. I mean, that'd be stupid. But Cub fans aren't out there taking a victory. I hope they're not taking a victory lap. I mean, everyone knows it's 12 games. I mean, it can go fast just as quickly as it came. It could be gone. And so I think that any idea that, I mean, with 30 games in, we can start talking a little bit more. But it's so early. Like, they haven't even gone through the schedule once yet. Mm-hmm. And the Brewers aren't bad. Reds aren't bad. They've lost. And I think some of their bad records have to do with playing good teams themselves and they're just not coming across. And Christian Yelich sucking. But, cut him.
Really retire Christian Yelich.
Yeah, he should just hang him up. You don't have that help. But what was that thing we read about the Brewers and who else was it? That
the Brewers. I mean, the Brewers and the Reds.
No, I'm talking about with the cheating. Was it the Brewers and
the Rangers or something?
Yeah, Brewers Rangers. That's what it was. So now you can't see it, Christian. Sorry about that.
But I do have to say, even though it is a short period, we are seeing very noticeable changes that are like visible. We can get to it now. Albert Moore Jr. is now just a defensive sub. Mm-hmm. That is it. Nico Horner, who started I think one game when he was called up last year in center and played a little in the minor leagues in center field. He just started against Bubic, lefty, on Wednesday, and that's normally the only time that Almora would get starts. But he started against the Pirates when they had Brault, and he was nasty against everyone. But later in the game, Almora had a chance. And we talked about it. He had a chance in extra innings, just make contact and you win a game. And he just looked foolish, struck out. Albert Almora Jr. just lost any starting time against lefties. He's a defensive sub. Shame, but that's the right move. Yep. He's been terrible since August 2018.
And it's a refresher too. You play your best 9, and I think Madden was probably a little frustrating. Again, I think I might have told you guys that because Mike Bryant's been texting me a lot, over the last 5 days, especially talking about how Joe Madden managed the players. And Mike told me a kind of a funny anecdotal story. He was like, when he was talking with Madden when Chris first came up and Madden was there, and so it was Chris's second season. He actually had made a joke because Chris wanted to break the Cal Ripken record and because obviously the Cal Ripken record is a cool record, and he says that he goes, yeah, Chris wants to break the record, and Joe Madden's response was, bummer, because Joe Madden sits his players once or twice a month, no matter what. So playing for Joe Madden would end your opportunity to ever break that. I thought that was kind of funny. It's not that way with David Ross. David Ross is not going to sit guys just because he's going to sit them. He's going to play guys. He's going to play his best 9. It looks like he's not going to try and get too cute. And I think Madden tried to force things on things. That's another thing where you're when you try to prove a point, and I think he tried to. Sometimes you beat a dead horse. With Almora, for example, was trying to prove a point, and now there's no point to make. He's not playing. The hottest, best guys play. Period. And I think it should be that way. But we've been going with so much mad scientist crap that which I respect, love it, but not right now. This team doesn't need mad scientists. It needs consistency. The veteran guys want to play, and let the veterans play. When they need a day off, they'll tell you. You don't just sit a guy because you feel like it. They know their bodies enough, I think.
And another thing, and I don't know what they're thinking about with Craig Kimbrell. Obviously, a dude's broken. I don't know, tipping pitches, whatever it is, just showing what he's going to throw, and guys are just sitting on his fastball and killing it, and no one's swinging at his curveballs. I said it. I liked it that all right, fine, 3-run lead, get him in there. Maybe he figures it out. But at least David Ross did pull him. And it was before he even gave up a run, it was just a single and a double, and he only got one out. And they're like, nope, you're done. So it's fine. All right, fine. Quick hook. But and they said it after the game, and I think even the next day, they're like, we're still going to give him a chance to like get fixed. And that's fine. You can do that. I'm not saying like, oh, make up an injury and like ship him away. I'm not even saying like find him a way to send him to South Bend. Fine. The best way, I do think the best way to get him back on track is he has to go out there and face hitters and just see if he can actually get them out. But it doesn't need to be in a safe situation. I do think you do need to get him fixed, but you can do it in a lot lower leverage spots because you do get into situations where it's fine. Like you can put him out there, but if he's just going to allow 2 runners every time, you're putting your team, you're declining your chances of winning. You can get away with it maybe like in the 6th inning if you're up like 4 runs or whatever. It's like, all right, Craig, get guys out. And if it doesn't work, fine. We'll get you out of there before it gets too bad. But if it's the 9th and you're up 5-3 and Kimbrel goes up there, gives up a hit, then a home run, like you fucked up big time. Like you can't be doing that right now. It's a veteran guy and they paid him a lot of money and it's just like he has the long track record. But man, he was done.
Well, and the thing is, and David Ross doing that, it's not just about him making that decision. Is not just about Kimbrel. That goes a long way for winning the hearts and minds of the rest of that pitching staff. To let them know that you might struggle, you might not get the job done. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to keep giving you your opportunities because I think you deserve them. And I think that goes a long way for the other pitchers to say, hey, if I have a bad stretch, because some guys, if Kimbrel was just sent and just sent to the bench and didn't get used and just started getting stale as like an old loaf of bread, that'd be one thing. But David Ross is actively trying to find a way to get him out of his funk. And I think for all those other guys to know that David Roth, oh wow, that's Barcelona. David Ross has enough Barcelona. He's got enough faith in his guys to go out there and find ways to at least get them better. And I think for them, that gives them the confidence to know that they can just go out and leave it out there because a lot of them have sucked. And he hasn't quit on really pretty much anybody just yet. But it also allows guys like Jefferson and Wick to kind of dominate. I love those 2 guys set at 8-9. So I mean, like if you can, it's just a matter of getting to the 8th inning and then just play a little crapshoot in the 6th and 7th if that happens. But those 2 dudes should just be penned in at that point. I don't even care what order you bring them in the best situation whenever you need of those 2, and you do it. But those 2 guys should be just penned in at this point with Sharpie.
It also seems again just like. You don't need to put Kimbrel right now. Like you have to look out for what's best for the team. What's best for the team right now is not putting your worst guy in the save just because he's trying to be your closer. He's just not. Doesn't have it right now. But I do like the other thing that Dave Ross is doing that I kind of noticed is just like he's with Wick and Jeffers. He's just putting them in there, and he's just like get as many outs as you can until like you give up a base runner, which I love. Like as long as like the pitch count doesn't get too crazy, because like. If a guy goes like 30 pitches, he's going to be out the next day. But like, I just like he's starting even with like some of the other guys, like Casey Sadler. I remember he's like mowed down the sign and then started the next inning. So keep doing that. Get best guys out there who are getting outs, and then let them go as long as until they give up a base runner or something.
Well, I think that rule probably plays into that decision too. The new rule of having a guy face 3 guys before he can be pulled anyway. You want to start a guy, he gets in there, maybe gets an out, and then he struggles a little bit. Then you don't have to put a guy out there that's going to suck balls either. He may get 2 outs, and then the inning's over. You can pull it. You can make those moves too. You can make some changes. But I think that rule has a lot to do with letting guys extend out as well, because you don't want to bring in some guy that's a question mark, and you're stuck riding that crazy train for 3 at bats. And as we see with Kimbrel in 3 at bats, things can go sour pretty quick. And so then all of a sudden you're in a bad spot. It does change how I think that these guys manage their staff.
And I mean, the last thing with the bullpen is with the roster cuts. Right now, they only have 1 lefty in the bullpen, which is Kyle Ryan, who has been hit hard too. So that's not great.
Burl.
But yeah, I mean, eventually it has to be. Like, I don't know if you just find someone. Again, I think we talked about like Dwayne. Like, well, we have to decide who's going to be cut down. It's like, yeah,
not Burl.
Caraway, but should be up. But like,
I want him up so bad. I want him up so bad. It hurts right now. He's my guy. He's my magical right now. So I swear, I want to see Will Caraway on the bump.
Aaron Bummer for Javi Baez.
Add Luis Robert and deal done.
Tim Anderson for Jacob deGrom.
Wait. I want to see what those sets.
What?
You get Javi
for Luis Robert? No.
for these. Oh, okay.
That's a hard no, bud.
I mean, only one of those two guys been a top 2 MVP.
Hey,
Because only one of those two guys have played a full season.
Facts are facts.
hey.
I don't make them up.
Uh-huh. Well,
Look at this chart right here. This chart says it all. It's info.
We can revisit this in a couple of years.
No one cut this.
Hey,
All right. Well, we'll probably be back on Sunday night or Monday to talk about these important weekend series.
Call it so sock sweep.
oh yeah, let's go ahead and do some predictions.
I'll take 2 out of 3 against that pitching staff.
All right,
Be
so
very happy with that.
sock sweep Cleveland, easy series for them. Cubs probably 2 or 3. I mean, Cardinals can't score for shit either, but I mean, Jack Flaherty's he's the goods. So that's.
I'd like to see the Cubs win that first game tomorrow. I'd like to set the tone for the series, and then they can kind of that first game. I think will be I think you could steal one really if they're flat. I think you could really kind of swipe in there and steal a game, and then get I think Saturday. I want to say that Saturday is probably going to be that day where the Cardinals can kind of show up, and then I think the Sunday Cubs take that third one.
I don't want to say this, but I can already picture it. I mean, as bad as the Cubs bullpen has been, they haven't blown a lead yet. I don't want to say it, but I could totally see that happening this weekend.
You're speaking it into the world.
I'm nervous about Saturday's White Sox game because
bullpen day.
Yeah. And then it's going to be really tough to beat Bieber. So they need to jump on what's his face on Friday night, Volley, and then that's why I'm saying 2 out of 3, and I'll be happy. So
anytime you take 2 or 3 from a divisional rival, it's great. It's a win. You win a series. Win the series.
Yeah, just win the series. So, all right, guys. So we'll be back Sunday, Monday. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Pinwheels and Ivy Pod. For Aldo Kevin, I'm Zoe, and fuck Nick Swisher. Bye.
Take a shot.